Hello there, this is Eric from Black Swan Odysseys. Today I'm going to do a review of the Garmin Zumo 396 LMTA-S. Okay, so here's the main unit. Needs to be, I'd fully charge it up first and test it before I hook it all up to the bike. There's the bike that it's going to go on. So in reading online, I found that there's been a couple of units that were defective. People had to send it back. So if you have to send this all back, you don't want to take and have to unwire it from your bike. So you might want to, I'm going to charge this up here first and make sure the unit works fine by itself. This is your mount that goes on the rear, and you need to line it up right. So here's two clips. So where those two clips go in. And it goes on there like so. This part here is what hooks to the back here with these attaching screws, and you have to line it up a certain way. Here, this is your optional handlebar mount to hook on the handlebar. So I could technically, I could mount it right here on this one if I wanted to, but in my case, I'm going to mount that here. So this is going to be mounted on the bike right here, like so. So I'm going to mount mine. Just so you can see these back port doors here, this is for your charging point. The other port. This is for your SIM card, or not SIM card, but your micro SD card slot to put in here if you want to put an extra one in here. I don't know if I would or not. So here's the device here in front of me. I originally looked at three different GPS units. I looked at this one, the 396, the Garmin 395, and the TomTom Rider 550. And I settled on the 396, and the reason why is price point, the quality of the device, the ease of touchscreen on your with your gloves, quality and quantity of maps that Garmin supplies, and it's a US based company. First I looked at the most expensive one, which is the Garmin 595, and that's a little bit bigger. It's I think 5.5 inches. This is a 4.3 inch screen. The pros for that one was obviously the bigger screen. It's got way better resolution than this does, so I think it's about twice as good. And probably the biggest thing that kind of was enticing for me is the 595 has topographical maps on it, where this one doesn't. That was kind of a thing that kind of like wooed me towards it at first, but the 595 is almost twice as much as the 396, and I wasn't sure I wanted to spend that much money. The other thing that this one has, which was kind of surprising over the 595, is this has direct Wi-Fi connect to Garmin, where the 595 you have to go through your computer, so it's a little bit more of a messing around to update your maps and all your settings and so forth, and firmware update. So I just kind of shied away from that. All three of them have good touchscreen. The TomTom supposedly has a little bit more sensitive touchscreens, and I've heard pros and cons to that. One gentleman said it was almost too sensitive. He'd get his finger next to the screen and the screen would all blip all of a sudden when he didn't want it to. So I'm going to pull over here for a second, and I'm going to walk you through the settings that I found on this. First of all, here's your plus and minus, and we'll go ahead and try it with a glove and see what I think. Yeah, not bad. I think it works pretty good with the gloves. Kawasaki's have a little bolt pattern down here, if you can see that. And I took a piece of sheet metal, had it bent to the right width and size, and then I just mounted a ball joint, a ram mount ball joint here, and then it just snaps right on. That's the whole unit decided. It fits around the ram mount. It Bluetooths to your phone, and it also Bluetooth your headset, like your Sena Cardio. I haven't Bluetoothed mine to it. I haven't decided if I want that playing in my head all the time. Simply looking at the directions, I think, is going to be good enough. Watch the display and how fast it reacts. And this is one thing I did like about it, and I'm assuming the TomTom and the Garmin are the same. Pretty much almost instantaneous. So I noticed with like my in-dash car GPS, it's got more of a lag time, where I can get around the corner and get about halfway up the street before it finally turns and has me heading in the same direction on the map as I am really going on the road. I found that the GPS speedometer part, if you look down in the corner here, is pretty accurate with my speedometer. I also found that in the car. When I first purchased this, I didn't mount it. I set it up in my car, drove around in my car just to make sure it was something I really liked before I started hardwiring it into my system. The bigger screen probably would be kind of fun to have, but I don't really need it. And the topographic part would be fun to have, but I don't really need that. And so that's why I kind of decided between either this or the TomTom. I kind of put the 595 out of the mix because I don't really need that big of a screen. Plus, I don't think how I have it mounted, the 395 wouldn't fit in, or the 595 wouldn't fit in here like it does for the 396. For me, one thing I just realized, because I've got my camera chin mounted on my helmet, it perfectly blocks the view of the GPS. So I'm either going to have to move one or the other, or I'm going to be constantly dipping my head down to look at the GPS. The other thing I noticed about it is it's nice and bright. So pretty bright day, not a full sunset. It's kind of partly cloudy, but I got a good view of where I am. I decided I wasn't going to spend the extra money for the 595 Garmin, and it was between this Garmin, the 396, and the TomTom Rider 550. So then I started comparing maps, and what I found through other people's research and reviews was that the TomTom map systems worked really good on major streets and major highways, but the back roads it lacked compared to the Garmin. The Garmin seems to do better on back roads, fire roads, and so forth, and trails. So, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm wondering if it's that way because of they're more international in that respect. TomTom is made in Holland. They might not have the detailed maps for the US. And that may not matter for you depending on where you live, but me here living in the Northwest in the United States, I want that detail in my maps. Now, will you get that same kind of detail in other countries? I don't know that for a fact. I hear a lot of the riders, long-term and country, riding in different countries, they like a lot of the Garmins. Oh, loose gravel here. Lots of loose gravel, wow. First of all, you can see I'm on a different bike. That's a whole other story, but this is my new bike, the KTM Super Adventure S. One thing with what I found with this GPS, this is the Garmin 396, as I said, is when it gives you directions and you'll go against directions rather than rerouting you to your new path, it keeps wanting you to go back to what it wants and forcing you to do U-turn. So let's see if we can duplicate that, what happened to me earlier. Let's do shopping. Oh, let's go to Kohl's. And I get up here to the main street. I'm going to go the opposite direction of what it wants me to do. And let's see what it does. Okay, it wants me to take a right-hand turn. I'm going to purposely take a left-hand turn, and let's watch and see what it does. Okay. Let's see here. Nope, it's just telling me where to go. What I think I did find out is it's certain points or certain address places. 2 weeks ago, I went down to a motorcycle clinic. I was already forewarned that the directions to the actual entrance would be off on a GPS mapping. And sure enough it was. I brought it up on a map, visually looked at it, and then I punched it into my Garmin. And the Garmin wanted to take me way around the location. I was going directly at it. I was even going down to the road, and I was a quarter mile off my known turn. I was going to turn to a left, and the Garmin actually even showed my destination on the map, but yet still was trying to get me to make a U-turn to go back to its route. So that could be an inherent issue within the mapping program in that particular area that wasn't updated. Because I can see here right now, it's doing a really good job sending me right where when I took a left, it put me right on it. So I'm going to do it again. If it tells me to take a right-hand turn up here, I'm going to go straight. If it tells me to go straight, I'm going to make a right-hand turn and see what the machine does. And it wants me to go straight. So we're going to turn. Oh, it did it. So that's a good sign. So yeah, as I said, oh, it did want me to try to turn back there. That's interesting. It was going to send me down through a neighborhood, it looked like. You can see right here, there's my destination point. Here's where we are right now. And obviously it wants me to make a turn right here. But we're going to go straight. And let's see here. Okay. Yep, it did. So it's that one incident I had a couple weeks ago is a one-off. So it looks like this does a really good job of sending you the right direction. So yeah, let's see. The driveway should be right here. Let's see if it sends me up to it. So good. And there's Kohl's right over there. It's a mess. Today when I got on, it did ask for an update as soon as it found my Wi-Fi. And how that works is I'll take it into the house and it's already tuned to my Wi-Fi. And as soon as I plug it into a power source and turn it on, it asks for it to do an update. So the updates are set to go automatic, and you can always, I'm sure, go in there and do a manual update if you want. And like I said, so far, I've only found one address where it really took me the wrong way, and it was trying to force me to go the other way. It wouldn't give me any other options. But you see, as today, I purposely went against the directions to see what it would do, and it rerouted me right away. So that's good. Something else I liked about this GPS is they're very intuitive.
I basically took it out of the box, turned it on, and really didn't have to even read the directions to figure out how to use it. It was just a matter of going through the different menu settings, and you can figure it out. That is my review of the Garmin 396 LMT. It's not the latest version, but I think for the money, it's still, for me anyway, it still outpaces the new one, which is the Garmin 595. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next ride.